right, so let's get started. You ready?
Let's do it. I stay ready.
That's right. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Danny from Fitness Saved My Life. I'm here with the lovely Jasmine Sanders. For those of you who don't know, Jasmine Sanders is the co-host of the top-ranked and nationally syndicated radio show, the DL Hughley Show. Thank you, Jasmine, for being here. I'm super excited. I'm happy that you took the time out to come on and
Thank
talk
you
to
for
me.
having me. I really
Yes,
appreciate it. I really do.
yes. So let's just get started. I know you're a busy woman, so I just want to get started. We're going to start off. I just want to know a little bit about your background. And obviously, this podcast is about fitness, so we're going to dig into that too. All right.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Sounds good.
where are you from?
So I always say that I am from Tennessee, and I say I'm from Nashville. But the truth of the matter is, I'm from a teeny tiny town outside of Chattanooga called Ottawa, Tennessee. It's a
Oh
very
man,
country town, very small.
hmm
But that's where I was born and raised.
nice. Yeah, how was your childhood growing up there?
It was good. It was simple.
Mhm.
I think it actually was so simple that it has probably been the singular most important thing that has kept me grounded
Hmm.
throughout my entire life and my professional career. I
Right.
grew up on a farm, a
Hmm.
working farm. So I had all of those chores that you hear about on TV or see in the movies, like
Right.
slopping pigs and feeding chickens and
Yeah.
milking cows and
Wow.
churning butter and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I think, just the simplistic nature of it all
Hmm.
just, has kept me very humble over the years. I've
Yeah.
learned to appreciate simple things.
Mhm.
Not to say that I don't like nice things, because
Right.
I
Right.
do, but I
Hmm.
understand that they don't make or define me. So
Got
I'm
it.
I'm really thankful for the way that I grew up.
That's good. So was it like you live in LA now, right?
I
Or
do.
is in
Yeah.
California, right? So was it like a culture shock coming from the country to the big city?
Not really, because I actually lived in New York first, and I
Okay.
was there for about 12, maybe 13, about 13 years,
Hmm.
maybe a little more than that. So really making the transition from there here. And I actually lived in Dallas initially
Okay.
for a couple of years when we first started the show.
Hmm.
So it was kind of like a stagger step. So I knew what to expect
Got it.
in LA. Although the people and the way of living is a little different, I was kind of ready and used to, big city. And this is the same as New York, just more
Hmm.
wide open spaces.
Yep.
And the people are different,
Yeah.
obviously. But outside of that, I was born for big city life.
Hmm. Okay. Good. Good. So let me ask you this. So what did you want to be when you grow up? Like as a child, we all aspire to be something. And you're a
Yeah.
radio host, you're a TV personality. But is that something you always wanted to do?
Always.
Always. Wow.
Always. From when I was a kid, I always knew that I would do TV or talk. I just
Hmm.
knew it. I used to idolize Barbara Walters, because at that time there was no one who looked like me
Yeah.
on TV, in a
Hmm.
news anchor position. And so I idolized her and people like Diane Sawyer. And,
Hmm.
I really wanted to be a journalist. I
Hmm.
thought that, you know, I loved the truth and uncovering facts and research. And so when I was younger, and I like the entertainment of it too, because when I was younger, I would sit next to my mama's stereo for hours at a time, and I would
Hmm.
mimic the radio personalities,
Right.
never knowing that years later that would come back to help
Wow.
me. When I first got my first job in radio, that I begged for, and I had
Hmm.
no experience. And so when they threw me in the booth, I basically
Just
remembered
jump.
what
Yeah.
I had done when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I
That's
just did
dope.
that. And there
Wow.
you go.
That's dope. That's dope. So,
Yeah.
how did you get into radio? Like, what was the steps?
So, well, the academic side of it is that I went to college. I double majored. I majored in political science as well as broadcast journalism, and I graduated, and I picked a station that I wanted to work at, and I went there every single day for
Mm.
almost 2 weeks. Sat in the lobby and politicked my way into a job.
Love it.
Every day.
Love
I
it.
treated it like it was a job. So I
Yep.
go, I'd sit for 8 hours. You can't do that now
Right.
because of
Yeah,
security
yeah. Of
reasons.
course. Right.
But back then I went, I
Wow.
made friends with the receptionist. She had
Hmm.
no idea what my plan was, but I was smart. I've
Yep.
always been smart and ingenuitive in that way. I would stop and get coffee for her or,
Hmm.
breakfast from McDonald's. And
Yep.
she'd be like, oh, thank you. I'm like, no, thank you. And I
Hmm.
knew she would allow me to sit in the lobby, talk to her, because I had the gift of gab. I've always
Yep.
had that. And
Hmm.
after about almost 2 weeks, someone finally came out and they were like, what do you
Yeah. What
want
are you
here?
doing
Every
here?
day, like all day, when I get here, and you're here when I leave. And
Hmm.
I was like, I want a job and I want to work here.
Right.
And they love my tenacity. My on-air skills were too questionable, obviously,
Hmm.
because I literally had graduated college like maybe 2 weeks prior to that.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
so the rest is history.
So when they hired you, was it an internship or straight they put you
No,
on the
it was
books?
not only did they put me on the books, this is how I always tell people, be careful what you ask for, and
Mm.
whatever it is you're asking for, be ready if
Yes.
the answer is yes,
Yep.
right? So I asked for the job. They gave me the job. They put me in initially on air right away. I was
What?
doing overnights, but I did overnights for about a week. And immediately they pushed me into the 7 to midnight position and made me music director.
Oh
I
wow.
was so green. I had no idea what I was doing, but I didn't say that. I said I could
Yes.
do it.
Yep.
Of course I
That's
can
it.
do it. And so I
Hmm.
basically bullshitted my way
Yep.
through it,
Yeah. And learned as you
and
go.
that's
That's great.
exactly what I did. That's
That's great.
exactly what I did. And so I knew what I wanted. And so I refused to I guess accept the fact that my lack of experience would somehow make me, I guess, ineligible for the job. I couldn't see
Hmm.
it that way.
Right. So that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
So DL Hughley, right? So he's a comedian, and he's known to make us all laugh, right? But he's very aware, he's serious, and he's woke. Like, how is it working with him?
Um, it's interesting because we have a great relationship because we stimulate different parts of each other at
Hmm.
different times. Like, when he's really serious, I can be silly. When
Yes.
I'm really serious, he can be silly.
Yep.
And so it's like an ebb and flow kind of
Hmm.
relationship. But the one thing that I will say, I was very surprised that I learned so much from him
Yeah. He's
over
very
these
smart.
almost 8 years that we've been working together. Because
Hmm.
here's the truth of the matter. When they first contacted me about doing a show with him, I was like, he's a comedian. Like,
Right. Yeah.
is he smart? Like,
Hmm.
can he do this? Like, I really didn't think it was in his wheelhouse. I was like, I
Hmm.
don't want to do a show where we just laugh and giggle all
Right.
the time. Like,
Hmm.
and so over the years, I just was shocked at how brilliant his mind is and
Yes.
how I don't know how he teaches me things.
Hmm.
And there are many things that I teach him. And I had always wanted, if I were going to go into a situation where I was going to be co hosting or working with someone else, I wanted to make sure that it was a move that I'd be making that would be vertical and not
Yes.
horizontal,
Yes. Yep.
meaning something that would help me grow
Hmm.
as a
Yep.
personality and as a journalist.
Yeah.
And so it's really been a lot of fun. And I always tell people the best way to describe working with him is like going to an amusement park. You go, it's going to be fun, but there are going to be some boring
Hmm.
times too.
Yep.
But you see the roller coaster, you're going to be terrified of it, but you wait in line, you get on it, you scream as you
Hmm.
go up, and there's about to be a drop.
Yep.
Your stomach drops. Sometimes you feel like you want to vomit.
Hmm.
You're screaming, let me off, because you're terrified. But
Yep.
then as soon as you get off, your ass gets right back in line
That's it. Do it all
to do
over
it
again.
again. Yeah. And when
Absolutely.
you're not there, you're dreaming about it.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so I think that's kind of what it's like working with him every day.
That's dope. So also, can you tell us about Jasmine Cares?
So here's the thing. Over the years throughout my career, I have been asked countless times to participate in programs that help young girls.
Hmm.
And I
I mean,
always
that's
say
how we
yes.
met.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. And
Yep.
so my thing was, what happens when we leave?
Right.
We show up, we
Hmm.
rah rah, cheer cheer, encourage, and then we leave and they're left to their own devices.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's, to me, it's no different than church. For those
Hmm.
who go to church, you go to
Yep.
church on Sunday, you're filled with the Spirit, you
Hmm.
feel great, and then here comes Monday
Hmm.
and you
Yep.
feel all alone again. The difference is with church, if you go to Bible study on Wednesday, you got that to look forward
Hmm.
to. Or if
Yeah.
nothing else, Sunday is coming around again.
Hmm. Yep.
But for those events that we do, you
Right.
as well, you
Hmm.
go in, you tell them they can do all of these amazing things,
Hmm.
and then you leave,
There's no
and they
follow
have
up.
got to live on that
Yeah.
until they see you or someone else again.
Yep.
So my thought was there has to be a bridge, there has to be a connection
Hmm.
to allow them to continue to feel that way.
Yep.
And so I developed Jasmine Cares, to
Hmm.
say that if nobody else cares after we're
Jasmine
gone,
cares.
I do.
Yep.
And so here is what you do. Here is my contact information. Email me, call me.
Hmm.
I'm going to be there for
I'm
you. And
available. Yep.
whatever I can't do, I will be a bridge or a conduit to connect you to somebody who can.
That's dope.
Because I
Love
hate
that.
the fact that we come in and we make them feel like they can do all of these
Yeah.
amazing things when you
Hmm.
and I both know, you're going to have ups and downs. There are going to be
Yep.
many nights that you're going to feel like I can't do this
Absolutely.
anymore.
Yeah.
And
You
who do you
know,
talk to?
yep. And even as a trainer, I constantly have to continuously reassure my clients and check in and make sure
Yeah,
that they're on track. And these are
that's right.
adults. So imagine
That's right.
children that's still trying to learn life. So yeah, that's great.
Absolutely. And so
That's,
that was my thing. I wanted to make sure that they knew that they were not alone, and that I
mm,
care. I mean, I don't have all the answers. I certainly don't have all the resources, but I do believe in 6 degrees of separation. And I believe that if I can't, I know someone
yeah,
somewhere who can.
absolutely. So once you got into the industry, like who mentored you? I mean, we all have mentors.
I it's so funny. I really wanted my mentor to be a woman,
Hmm.
but unfortunately it wasn't, because I
Hmm.
think female to female, there's a lot of things that you can share
And
that make
relate.
sense,
Yep.
that they would understand. But when I first got into the industry, I met this guy named Mel Jones. He was older than me. He was like an old head in the industry. He was a record rep. He worked for Capitol Records, and he recognized right away. He was like, you know what? He said, you're going to have a lot of hardship in this business. He says, you're a young girl, you're beautiful, you're green. He was like, it's going to be a lot of people who want to take advantage of you, men, program directors, artists. He said, let me tell you something. He was like, always remember, keep your mind open and your legs closed.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yep.
huh? But I got it.
Hmm.
I didn't get it. And I was like, who
Right.
tells this old man telling me that?
Hmm.
But it made all the sense in the world
Yep.
to me as I began to move through. And it was more than just, I guess, the harshness of it. It could apply to so many other things,
Absolutely.
like
Yep.
under helping me to understand to not rely on physicality or my body or my looks to
Hmm.
get through things, but to
Yes.
use my brain. And
Absolutely.
so for me, that taught me not to fraternize in the industry a
Hmm.
lot,
Yep.
because that could be the downfall. And also to make sure that I wasn't just a talking head. So I made sure I knew what was going on behind the microphone, in front of the microphone, and the same
Hmm.
thing with the camera. So
Yep.
if push comes to shove, I could shoot, edit, produce all of that my own show because I
Absolutely.
knew how to work both sides of it.
Hmm. That's what's up. Yep. So also, I know you're into fitness. This is what this podcast is
Yes.
about. So how has fitness helped you, like personally and professionally?
So this is one thing when I go and speak to young women, especially, I tell them all the time. We focus so much on what we learn, how to do things, how to gird ourselves emotionally. But the
Hmm.
one thing that most people always forget is fitness, and
Hmm.
not for vanity, but fitness for strength of mind. The
Yes.
one thing that I learned a long time ago was the stronger I felt in my body, the
Hmm.
stronger I felt in my mind. I felt that there was nothing I could not do. And whenever I would stop working out and begin to feel sluggish and not as strong, it would carry over into my mental. It would also carry over into my lack of passion, or get up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
go, or let me go do this. Or but whenever I am in shape and I
Hmm.
feel physically fit, I don't want to sit around.
Yep.
My mind is quick. It's
Yeah.
thinking just like my body. And
Hmm.
I can't wait, very much in the same way that you can't wait to tackle that third rep, or you feel
Yep.
like I can do at least 3 more push-ups or 5 more.
Absolutely.
Let me do some sprints. I can feel
Hmm.
it. There's a certain feeling that you have of, I crave that.
Yep.
I think you crave the same thing professionally. You want to go for something higher. You want
Hmm.
to, push yourself to make
Yeah.
that next track, or I think I can do that spot better, or let me do this report over, I can do it better. And
Hmm.
absent that, I think that you become a little lazy. I think you can become a little depressed, and you really feel like your obstacles are bigger than you. But
Hmm.
I believe wholeheartedly, when your body is strong, you really do believe that you can tackle and take on and overcome any
Absolutely.
obstacle that gets in your way. At least that's the way it's been for me.
Yeah, I think I agree with that 100%. So like when you have a pretty consistent workout regimen now, right? You said 3 4 days
Yeah,
a week,
well, pre-COVID.
yes,
In the time
right.
of COVID, I got to be completely transparent. It's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
more difficult to get out
Hmm.
because so many things are closed. Um, and I think just the the you just get tired, and that
Hmm.
fatigue of missing friends and camaraderie and
Yep.
fellowship. And I think it kind of it can become very easy to sit around the house and binge
Hmm.
on Netflix and chips at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
However, I did say, what, let me turn my garage into a gym.
Hmm.
Let me go buy some weights. Let me
Yep.
try to do something. So I
Absolutely.
have been trying to keep my body strong,
Mhm.
just because I want to make sure that should I get sick, my body is strong enough to
Right.
fight, because it is an investment, right? What
Absolutely.
you put in is like a savings account.
Absolutely.
Your
Yep.
body will be there when you need it.
Yep. So, speaking of COVID, you and DL Hughley actually contracted COVID
Yeah.
19.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I had a COVID scare a couple of weeks ago, but it turned out it was just a cold. But
Oh, thank
I got
God.
tested twice, but I was good. But um, do you think that being physically fit and in shape kind of helped you? I know you said
I
you were a little
do.
asymptomatic, but you think it helped
No,
you?
I do. I absolutely do. I really do, because the one thing that I know about it, it can make you want to sit around and do nothing. But there is something about when, like I said before, when you have a strong body, you're more motivated to get
Mhm.
up and kind of move around. And the one thing that I've learned is that being stationary is your greatest enemy with
Yes.
COVID,
Yep.
because that respiratory situation, and
Hmm.
it wants you to be still so that
Yeah.
it
So
can
it can.
basically take over
Yes.
your lungs and
Hmm.
everything. And so you have to do what you don't want to, and that is get up and move around and not be
Hmm.
stationary. And I think for both me and him, because he's very into fitness as well. He doesn't really talk about it, but
Yeah.
DL runs
Hmm.
probably 5 or 6 miles a
Yeah.
day. He does a lot of calisthenic work.
Hmm.
And I think that for us, it really helped us get on the road to recovery a lot faster. Now, for
Yep.
me, it lingered a lot in my system much longer than it did for him. So
Hmm.
it took me a number of tests before it came back negative.
Hmm.
But um, I was lucky enough that I just was not like in the bed and or had to go to the hospital or anything like
Hmm.
that.
Thank
But
God.
I also I tell people a lot of times that I believe, outside of growing up on a farm and putting a lot of shit in my mouth I probably shouldn't have, and eating a lot of stuff that I shouldn't
Right.
have, I think that me being physically fit my entire life, because I was also an athlete, and all my life as a kid in elementary and junior high school and college, I've always been an athlete. I've always worked out, and it's kept me with a very healthy immune system. So
That's good.
I rarely get sick. And
Hmm.
so I think with me, COVID just really didn't know what to do, but
Right.
I was positive, but I was not like on my back.
Good. That's great. That's a blessing. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So shifting gears a little bit. So I'm into business and entrepreneurship. What business ventures do you have?
So I'm working on a couple of things. I'm working on a beauty line for women of color, as well as a website for women of color.
Hmm.
I'm also working on a golf line of clothes for women.
Mm,
And I'm also thinking about getting into a business where I help cultivate other talent, whether
hmm.
it's in media or entertainment, that kind of thing.
Dope, dope. I like that. And you're a writer as well, right?
Yes, I am. I'm
Yeah.
actually working on a book right now.
Nice, nice. Me too. I'm actually working on a book. It's called How to Lose Weight and Never Find It Again. So I'm like halfway
Whew,
through.
yeah, I need to read that book. Send that on this way.
Yes, I got you. Signed copy. So I'm a true believer in we all have a purpose in life, right? God gives us
Right.
this purpose. Do you think you found your purpose?
I think so. But I honestly believe that your purpose, first of all, I don't believe we all have a singular purpose.
Right.
I think that we all have multiple purposes, but your next purpose doesn't start until the first one is done.
Hmm.
Because I think it's like, I think there are levels to it,
Yes, and it
right?
leads to the
Because
next one. Yep.
yeah, I do believe that. And I think
Hmm.
when you have fulfilled all of your purposes, whatever
Hmm.
they are, I think that is when your journey ends.
Absolutely.
Because I think, I think they have multiple avenues. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like I think it's like one stream or one ocean, and
Hmm.
then from that all of these other things. Like
Yes.
for instance, I thought initially my purpose was to inspire young people, but then
Hmm.
that began to morph into other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
once I inspired, then something else would happen. And I
Hmm.
was like, oh, wow, I can do this too. So I
Hmm.
think we all have multiple layers to our purpose. It's just a matter of finding what the core and what the center of that
Hmm.
is, and then building from there.
Yeah. TD Jakes told a story about his son who was going to school, going to college, and his son was kind of like in the wind. He was like, well, what if I'm going to school and what if what I graduate in, I don't want to do it? He was like nervous about that. So TD Jakes said to his son, he said, even if you don't do what you do, or what you taught in school, what you graduating in, I'm sorry, what you're doing now is going to lead you to what you have to do. So finish school, and if whatever you learn in school, if it's not that, it's going to lead you to what you
Yeah.
need to do. So it's similar to what you're saying. It made me think about that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I believe that. I mean, think about it. When I was a kid, I could have never known that me sitting in front of a radio or stereo,
Hmm.
mimicking, I could have never known how that would help me later on. I
Hmm.
thought it was just my favorite pastime, and I had this deep passion for
Hmm.
music and everything entertainment. And I
Yep.
figured I'd entertain one day. I just didn't know how. And who
Yes.
knew all those years later that I would need that.
Hmm.
I think that's how the universe works. I think it gives you what you need,
Hmm.
and you may not know that you need it in that moment, but maybe a year or two down the line you will.
Yep. It's funny you say that. I was just thinking because I was doing some research and I saw when you were saying that you wanted to be a singer, and then you went to church and realized, oh wait, that's not something I could do. Tell
No,
us about
but
that.
you know what? It's hilarious. Let me tell you something. When I was a kid,
Hmm.
I had no doubt that I was going to be a singer. But
Hmm.
that has a backstory to it, right? Because I was adopted. I found out at a very young age that I was adopted. And
Hmm.
so I figured either I had to be a member or a sister to Sister Sledge because I felt we had the same profile, the same
Right.
face, or
Oh
I
man.
thought Minnie Riperton was my mother.
Mm.
Either way, I had to be blessed with the ability to sing because
Wow.
how could my sisters be Sister Sledge and they can sing and I couldn't?
Right.
So
Right.
for years, I thought I could sing. So I was practicing every day, singing, singing,
Mm.
singing. And so I thought I'm a fantastic singer. And then I went to church
Mm,
and
mm,
got into the
mm.
choir and tried to
Wow.
sing a solo.
Oh
And
man.
yeah, it was
That was
terrible.
it.
Oh, it was terrible. And it was at that moment I realized I can't sing, but you know what I can do? I can talk.
That's right.
And I had
Absolutely.
no idea at that moment either that although I was using my voice, trying to have a melody to it,
Hmm.
that what I was also doing was training myself to use my voice to
Yes,
talk for a living.
absolutely.
So
And
although I
projecting.
am not melodic, that is right, I'm not melodic,
Hmm.
but I know how to tell stories. I know how to
Yes.
use my voice very
Hmm.
much in the same way that a singer would to move people. I just
Absolutely.
don't sing it, I talk it.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. Yep. So another question. What's your definition of success?
My definition of success is how many other people are successful along with you.
Mm, mm,
Like what do other people say um, about you in terms of how you have blessed them? To
mm.
me, that is successful. Because think
Yes.
about it. If I equate success to mean how much money I have, right? That
Hmm.
money can also be taken. So does that now mean I'm unsuccessful?
Right, right.
The
Absolutely.
same thing goes with titles and being elevated at a company. When they
Hmm.
fire me, or if they fire me, or if they take that title, does that now
Right.
mean I am unsuccessful?
Hmm.
But the things I do for other people to enrich and improve their lives, right?
Mm.
I
Yep.
am now successful because that blessing not only blesses them, it puts them in position to bless other people. So
Absolutely.
now I have a
Hmm.
line of successes
Yes.
that will live long after me, long
Absolutely.
after my money, my
Hmm.
title, the fame, anything else,
Mm.
long after that is gone, that can never be
Mm.
taken from
No.
me. To
Yep.
me, that is success.
That's amazing. Yep. I like that. I like that. So we're about to close out, but before we close out, we have like a little segment where I do like a word association. So I'll say a word.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's gonna be quick. I'm gonna say a word.
Oh
You
no, no,
can.
I'm not scared.
All right.
I think it'll be fun.
All right. So it don't have to be a one word answer. You can elaborate, but I'm just gonna say three or
Okay,
four things, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
okay.
2020.
2020 a wash,
Mm, okay.
like jacked up.
Yes. Family.
My lifeline.
Hmm. Beautiful. Fitness.
Oof. Um, wow. Necessary.
And last one, Jasmine Sanders.
Ah, illumination.
Wow, I love that. I love that.
Illumination.
Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me, talk to my people, dropping your
Anytime.
jewels. You know,
Anytime.
you are a wonderful, positive influence for young women and men.
Thank
And
you.
you and DL Hughley show opens up a lot of eyes, and your perspective on the current events is very much needed.
We
And
try. We
yes,
try.
much success to you. It's been 8 years now.
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
We're like
That's
an
crazy.
old married couple.
Yes, yes, I love it. I love it. But thank you again. I'm not gonna hold you any longer, and I
No
will see
worries
you
at all.
soon.
Thank you so much. I really
Yes,
appreciate it. Thank you. I'm
yes,
humbled by this opportunity to chat with
yes.
you. I just appreciate you so much, and you keep doing
Mhm.
what you're doing too.
Yes, yeah. And I need you to come to one of my Zoom fitness classes. You know, it's
I
all
will. You
online.
send me the information, and I will
Yes.
do it.
All right.
I
So
will definitely
we
do
we
it.
work out 5 days a week. So you just let me know
Okay.
when you're available.
Send me the info, and I'm there.
All right, I will. You be great.
Okay. You
All
too.
right.
Take care.
Blessings.
Bye bye.